The member is entitled to object. Order. Order. The House comes to question number 1 and stands the name of the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr. Speaker, this question is to the Prime Minister. Has he had any recent discussions with the Prime Minister of Australia of security and intelligence concerns Australia has expressed over Huawei?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as has been the long-standing practice in this House by successive governments, I do not intend to comment on matters of security and intelligence.
The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Why is the Prime Minister giving that answer to the House when he was happy to put out a press statement 29 January talking about, and I quote him, to strengthen cooperation against the shared and growing challenge of cyber security through a regular Australia-New Zealand cyber dialogue, end of quotes. What was that all about?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we do from time to time put out generic statements in relation to security. That was in relation to the cyber security strategy and the National Cyber Security Centre. And I know, given the member clearly has an interest in this area, he'll be pleased to know that the government is working aggressively in that area.
The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
If the Prime Minister is concerned about cyber security, then why has he not raised this issue with both Australia and the United States, both of whom have denied access to their country in the way that he has not denied them access to his country?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the member's question is incorrectly phrased. He is making assumptions he shouldn't necessarily make.
Point of order, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
I do not need a grammatical lesson from that Minister either.
Order.
It's for you to decide whether it's...
Order. That is not a point of order. The member will resume his seat. The member will resume his seat. Under points of order, members do not get to their feet and say they don't need lectures from that minister. The Prime Minister alleged that in answering the member's question, asserted the question wasn't accurate. Now, the minister is perfectly at liberty to do that. At least it's focused on the question. The member may not agree with that answer. That's why he has further supplementaries to pursue the matter. But the Prime Minister was... I'm still on my feet.
All right,
I'll get off them so the member can raise a point of order. The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the propriety of questions is for the Speaker to decide. And why I made that statement is I thought that you would have jumped to your feet to correct the Prime Minister. I'm asking a pretty fundamental question about the security of this country, and it's not a trivial matter, and I think it should be treated seriously by both the House and you and the Prime Minister. I think we're being unfairly treated here.
Order. The Prime Minister answered the question by asserting that there was something incorrect in the way the member asked the question. Now, that is a perfectly legitimate answer to do that. Now, the member has further supplementaries to pursue the answer given by the Prime Minister. That's what question time is all about. The Speaker cannot judge whether the Prime Minister is right or wrong in making that assertion in his answer. The Speaker can't judge that, but it was very much an answer focused absolutely on the question because it said the question contained errors in part. Now, it's up to the member then to pursue that with further supplementaries.
Supplementary question.
The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Prime Minister, what was the error in the question that was seriously asked of you?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, well, in answer to that question, the member made assumptions he's not in a position to make. As I said earlier, it's not a question of whether those questions may or may not have been asked or statements may or may not have been made. I don't comment on those matters of security. And while he's at it, it's not Huawei, it's Huawei.
A point of order, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Well, he got that wrong as well.
Order. Order, I apologise to the member. Order. Unless I misheard, the member was calling a point of order, and it will be heard in silence. The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Now, Mr. Speaker, you heard what my question was, which simply related to the fact that Australia and the United States found difficulty with this company with respect to them accessing their market, and I've asked him why did he find no difficulty with them, given those relationships we have with the United States and Australia, with... Well, there you go, Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Special rule for him or not?
Order.
Is there a rule for him or different?
No, order. The member, the Right Honourable Prime Minister, should not be interjecting during a point of order.
Speaker. That was what the question was, if you checks the Hansard.
Well, order. If I'll hear the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr. Speaker, and it is in support, but probably not that helpful to the Right Honourable Winston Peters. I did listen carefully to the Prime Minister's primary answer. I listened carefully to his the supplementary, which was interrupted. I think there was an assumption that the member made that they had not been in contact with Australia and the United States, which the Prime Minister has indicated was incorrect.
Order. The member, I think, is again not raising a valid point of order. He's seeking to comment on the Prime Minister's answer, which he cannot do and should know better than that. Now, if the Right Honourable Winston Peters feels that his question was totally misunderstood, I'm prepared to allow, because I accept there's the member is arguing there's a genuine public interest in this issue. I accept it absolutely. The Prime Minister has made it clear to the House that he doesn't comment on security issues. But given the potential for misunderstanding, I'm happy for the member to repeat that supplementary question without cost of a further question to the member. The Right Honourable Winston.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is simply this. What was it that the Prime Minister did not seem to understand in the fact that the United States and Australia found difficulty with this company and debarred them from their market, whilst he is allowing them into this market in this country on the issue of national security? What doesn't he understand here?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, what I can say is we take overall network security issues very carefully. If we see issues, we specifically ensure that we address those issues, and the member's quite incorrect when he says Huawei is not involved in the Australian or the US market. Actually, they are part of the networks.
Supplementary.
Claire Curran.
Does he stand by his statement last week that while New Zealand's ultrafast broadband contract with Huawei began before Australia's action against the company, he was, quote, comfortable with the current arrangements, end of quote, in New Zealand? And if so, does he still have full confidence in the security of New Zealand's new broadband network?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes and yes.
Claire Curran.
Given Australia has taken action to ban Huawei from tendering for its massive broadband network, does this mean that New Zealand's cyber security measures are superior to the Australians, and if so, how?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I don't comment on those matters of security.
Question number 2, John Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is